Hi, hello everyone. Sorry for the false start. I forgot to unpress the mute button, but I hope you can hear me now. Thank you all for joining us on the deck. Happy to be here. It's probably going to be one of the last stream we do for season 2, and we just released quite a, I want to say, long-awaited update yesterday with 2.2. We know there's a lot of things that you guys want to ask us about. There's a lot of things we want to share, and there's a lot of questions we want to answer. And to do that today, I have invited two guests. One of them you probably already know if you watched the deck before, but the first one for today is a new one. Please welcome Gabriel. Gabriel, how are you today?
Hello, good. I'm very excited and happy to be here and excited to talk about some of the changes that we have for 2.2 and what's coming in the future as well.
Cool. Thank you for being here. Since you're new on the deck, do you want to talk a little bit about who you are and what you do on Skull and Bones? What is your scope, essentially? I know it's a big one. But
Yeah, so I'm associate content director, and really my job is kind of looking at how everything in the game connects together. How do we connect things in the world, the narrative, tying to progression, and how we're really setting the plan out over the year, like across year one, seasons 1 through 4, and as well as looking at how we continue to expand upon it in the following year as well. So we're really looking at things in the long term.
cool. Very nice. And when it comes to our second guest for today, like I said, if you've watched the deck before, you probably know him. He basically joins us pretty much every time now. Uh, so hello Sam, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. As always, super excited. After the release of 2.2, as with all other releases, right? Trying to get things into the hands of players as much as possible, including all the quality of life. Yeah. I don't have a nice shirt like this, but
I was just
no,
about to say for next time you have to step up your game when it comes to shirts. Because
I
Gabe just set the bar a bit higher for us
You
today.
gotta get that drip,
yeah, but at least I have like my hair, so kind of safe there.
So,
So-
season 3, when you're back, you have red hair, right?
Yeah, red hair for the red season.
But going back to why we're here today, for those who maybe didn't join in the last stream and don't know who you are, do you want to explain briefly what is your role on Skull and Bones or what you do?
So for Skull and Bones, what I do, I'm a project manager on the quality team. That means that we look at all the quality of life features, as well as developing some base tech for the upcoming seasons ahead. So when it comes to player feedback, I work closely with Alexis and team to look at some player insights, some data points, as well as community feedback through the different social media channels, and work with the development team to come up with solutions to ship them to players as soon as possible. And of course, whenever I go on stream, that things.
Yes. So essentially, you know a lot about both how people react to our updates through the feedback that you receive, but also what are we going to do to address it and when is it coming and all this stuff, basically, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I've been reading some of the comments so far for 2.2. We have a lot to share today.
Nice. So what this means for all of you in the chat, so it means that if you have questions, if you want to know about anything related to the update that came out yesterday, anything that we are planning to do after this update for season 3, season 4, and potentially beyond, feel free to ask. It doesn't mean we can answer everything. There are things we're still working on and we don't have exact information to share, but we should be giving you, able to give you a bit more visibility on what we're thinking, what we're working on, what we want to do, and the direction we want to take for the game. So Sam here knows a lot about the plans. Gabriel knows a lot about the design intention, the ideas. So all in all, I hope we can answer most of your questions for today. But jumping into the big topic of today. So Sam and Gabriel are gonna do like last time. They're gonna try their best to play the game while answering questions. Once again, we know it can be a bit distracting because it's very hard for them to focus on obviously the questions are asked, the proper answer, and play the game at the same time. So please be kind if they struggle, if they die. It's not their fault. I promise you, when they play without my questions, they are a lot better. But both of them play the game quite a lot, so hopefully they should be able to manage. And hopefully, the more we do those streams, the better they'll get as well. But yeah, big topic of today, 2.2. Sam, I'm gonna pass it on you first. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about update 2.2? So I guess my first question for you is, in season 1, we were quite fast in deploying new updates every couple of weeks, every third week. This time 2.2 took a bit more time, and I know there's a lot of quality of life changes that the community was asking about and wanted for the game since the beginning of season 2, which came finally with 2.2. Can you tell us a little bit more why we decided to take a bit more time with this update in particular?
Of course. So, if you have seen the 2.2 dev update that was released just a couple of hours ago, you would have seen that you might have guessed that it's recorded some time ago because a different hair color then. But essentially, we wanted to deliver 2.2 a couple of weeks ago, but we ran into certain issues that prevented us from patch. So there were a few bugs that we deemed were not critical enough to prevent the patch from going out. And I think for season 1, we really did try and push patches really fast, get things into the hands of players as soon as possible. But that also resulted in a couple of game breaking or balance issues. So for season 2, we wanted to be a bit more careful with the releases that we have and really focus on the quality of releases and making sure that everything is stable before it goes out. So with 2.2, from the patch notes, I think you can kind of guess that it's quite a big update in terms of quality of life changes. We wanted to look at warehouse increase. We wanted to look at being able to get players into activities as soon as possible. And once we kind of finalized all of these changes, package them into a build that took us a bit longer to develop, but at the end of the day, still as soon as possible for players to play. So more focus on quality, and I think that's the direction that the game as a whole will.
Yeah, so hopefully 2.2, like we said before, that came yesterday, there's some quality of life changes, some improvements to the game, some changes, and of course having your feedback will help us a lot, making sure that we are able to address whatever when maybe not as planned with 2.2 that we can correct with an upcoming update. So please don't hesitate to share your feedback with us. And I guess for us the objective is really to try as much as possible to deploy quality updates and fix it. One of which in particular I want to point out is we know that throughout season 2 and to some extent season 1 as well, a lot of Xbox players were experiencing crashes, right? So that took us quite a lot of effort to figure out why and fix it. But Sam, can you confidently say that we made significant progress on that front?
I can confidently say that the dev team has spent so much effort into looking into Xbox issues. I think on the last stream we also mentioned that we deprioritize features just to ensure that players on the Xbox platforms do get the stability fixes that they needed. And just based off our testing numbers as well as the ratio of crashes, we feel confident that 2.2 will be the patch that will save a lot of Xbox players from and the issues being.
Okay, we have a first comment in the chat saying Xbox issues resolved.
Yeah.
We really worked hard on this one, so I hope this time our Xbox community is able to play with that. Another big thing with 2.2 was obviously the increase of warehouse space. So just for full disclosure, we did some tests with the increase of warehouse space. We know there's a lot of new resources and items that came with season 2, and it's probably more that are going to come with season 3 when we are able to share more about this. Can you tell us what are the long-term plans to make sure that we never, as much as possible, we avoid ending in the same situation again where players are having a hard time finding space in their warehouse, basically.
Right. So I think inventory management as a whole is a big topic for us here, and it's not just about the warehouse space. That is the biggest topic that is being discussed. How can we increase it? We increased it to by 50 this time round, but we are taking a very conservative approach this time just to make sure we don't break anything, or we kind of roll out this update. And beyond just increasing the size, we also looked into how can we make space in the inventory, which translated to being able to sell food, to sell water, to sell chests, and also improving the filtering and sorting so that it makes it easier for players to navigate and look at ways to manage their inventory. Now it doesn't stop here with 2.2. We do have already plans and things that are being implemented and being additionally tested. So we are looking into the possibility of increasing it even more, but tying it to a gameplay system as well. So it just doesn't feel like, oh, we just give you an extra 50, give you 100, give you a reason to, an objective, if you would, to work towards that goal. And also more improvements in shape customization, as well as inventory as whole, to allow you to find your items and manage them better.
Cool. So I'm looking forward to the future changes we're doing on that, because obviously we are continuously trying to make sure it's as convenient and as easy as possible for people to manage their inventory. So switching to Gabe to test his ability to answer questions and play at the same time. So a big topic that kind of came out yesterday after the update is the changes we made to bounties, right? So to give a bit of context, we've done some change with 2.2 update to make bounties available on a timer. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, because I think you're quite involved in the decision. Can you explain a little bit what is the intention of this change? What are our plans to maybe improve on it in the future? One key feedback we got from players is that previously they were able to just pick up a bounty and just basically spawn the bounty to be able to farm it in a loop. Now they kind of have to wait on a certain timer to be able to engage with whichever world event is linked to the bounty. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the big motivation for kind of making these bounties events that are just there in the world was really about accessibility first and foremost. Like, we want to make sure that as a player you log in, you can see kind of the wealth of activities that are available on the map, and then you can easily just jump straight into it. And we knew that players were going through the process of picking up bounties from the bounty board, so it made sense for us to basically just push the bounty contract directly to you as you jumped straight into these events. So I think with the current timers, while it is a little bit longer than we would like, I think the idea is that with the breadth of activities that you can do, you can actually cycle between these different world events, and by the time you're done with it, the event that you want to farm is back on active again. So that being said, we're definitely looking at the cooldown of these events, so that the cadence at which you can engage with them is actually on par with how it was done previously when it was on demand, but still giving you sufficient time to restock ammo, your health, switch out your loadout, things like that, just for general maintenance. So we're targeting to actually even lower the timer very soon, and we hope to provide that update sometime within the season itself.
Yeah, so our goal is not to make it harder for our players to farm our world events, right?
Absolutely. I think we wanted to show that there's a lot more variety of activities in the world, so you can see that people right now is like there's lots of people playing the Mega Lestari where previously you perhaps had to wait for a call for help before you realize that the event was available, or even if someone was even holding the bounty. So I think events now are really feel like events where it helps to bring players together, and it's great that I see now I can see a lot more players working together, and rather than hoping on the off chance that I pick up the bounty and maybe it's because I think previously when things were on demand, you could do it at your time, and some of these can be pretty difficult to do alone. And I think where the value lies in the experience is that when people kind of look at this opportunity coming up at the same time, everybody will gather together and just have a good time defeating these event bosses.
So can we say now officially on the stream that we will be looking at the timer and making sure that it's not too much of a wait for players, and that it's a comfortable level where they don't feel like I have 30 minutes to wait, for example, before I can farm that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think based on recent discussions with the team, we're easily looking at halving the time that you'll need to wait, like the maximum time you would need to wait for these events to become active again.
Cool. Another kind of related topic, and since you're fighting against Mega Lestari, it's a good opportunity for me to jump on. We also did some changes to the difficulty for the Aussie monsters, right? So a lot of feedback we got from yesterday feels like the Zuhamahaidu. Sorry, I'm pronouncing this very wrongly, but I'm trying. Some people feel like now it's become way too easy, and we should have done different balancing changes, basically. So can you tell us more about the process on why we're doing changes like that, and what are we going to do moving forward to make sure that those who want more challenge, more difficulty can find it and get rewarded for it, versus maybe people who have just jumped into the game with Season 2 or will jump into the game with Season 3 are able to basically take down some of the world events we have without too much difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to strike a really good balance in terms of where we want to hit difficulty. Like we understand that there is a good number of players who seek the challenge, but we know that we want to make the experience accessible, just to be able to enjoy and get the satisfaction of beating these sea monsters and bosses, even if they play by themselves or maybe with a friend or two. So what we're looking really at in terms of balancing is I think we want to make it just a little bit more accessible for those players who are still early in their journey as Kingpin, and perhaps even playing alone. And so some of the balancing that we're looking at is increasing multiplayer scaling. So for example, if there are multiple players in the same area fighting this, we will scale it higher, in fact, to accommodate like the fact that a lot of players are fighting it. So you won't defeat it as easily if you were fighting it alone. So it's kind of balancing that between the experience for a few players versus a lot of players. And that being said, I think what we want to do in the long term is also, how can we provide a way for players to choose the difficulty? Because at the end of the day, Skull and Bones is kind of shared open world, and we want to make the experience as fun for as many people as possible. But we definitely recognize that there is a demographic who's looking for a really hardcore challenge, and we want to be able to provide that challenge for the players. So we're definitely exploring things like how you can choose that difficulty, whether it's through selecting world tiers, whether there's a more player-centric way to actually increase the amount of damage you receive, and of course, the damage you deal. So these are things we're definitely exploring at the moment, but we definitely recognize the need for it.
Thank you. Yeah, no. So I think it's important to also remind our players that we are looking at a lot of data, a lot of feedback to do these changes, right? And it's an ongoing process, balancing the game to make sure, like you said, it's accessible, but remains challenging for people who are a bit more experienced, a bit more, have more progress in the game, have all the best equipment, etc. So please continue to share your feedback with us on our game's difficulty, but also on how you feel about different weapons, different ships. Because 2.2 also came with a series of balancing changes for ships, which is something that we want to keep doing on a regular basis, right? So if you feel certain weapons are overpowered or underpowered, please let us know, and we can then look at the data and try to make the right. Another topic, I don't know if you, Gabe, or Sam want to answer that one. So with the changes we've done to world events and the way they're displayed on the map, some players have been sharing concerns that the map is now very heavily loaded with a lot of icons that are blinking. Are we looking into that? How are we going to address it? Yeah, any thoughts? I know it's very early because the update just came out yesterday, so we might not have an exact answer on when it's going to be fixed, but like, what are your thoughts, basically?
Yeah, so I actually don't disagree with the sentiment, and I think tied to the changes we did for making world events a lot more visible to more players, this is where we also realize that, hey, we actually have a good amount of content that you can jump between. And so I think then the next step is really providing players options in terms of controlling what exactly they want to see. So I recognize that all the pings that's going on the map right now can be pretty distracting, and so some of the things we're looking at is to dial back some of these things to help you focus better. So events that are in warm up, we're looking at removing those pings. We are exploring how we can incorporate filter options into the journal tab as well for the new events tab in the journal, so that way you can have a lot more control on what you want to see, what's relevant. We're also looking at how even we can do this as a smart system, so checking what your current ship SR is, and just showing you what challenges are relevant to you at this level. So I think all in all, the change that we have done for 2.2 is that first step, and then kind of reining it back. We want to make sure that players would be able to see all that we have to offer, and then from there then give you the control to decide what you want to play in a given session.
Cool. We're looking forward to futures iterations of all those changes. So this one is definitely for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about another, I want to say, big and quite visually noticeable change with 2.2 is our recommended activities?
Right. So just to add on to Gabe's point as well, like we wanted to of course, well, we have a lot of activities now in the game, but then it gets the question of how players can identify something that's immediately relevant to them, right? And so the first step to this is actually our recommendation system where you see this here. This shows you different activities that you can immediately participate in. And it's a combination of the contracts that you have, the contracts that are available. And so if you log into the game and say you have 30 minutes to play the game, not sure exactly what to do or what you can do, it does give a good indication of what you can immediately get your hands dirty in and get into a fight immediately. There's the ability for you to fast travel directly to these activities. So in this particular case, I have a world event here that's active in the world, and it actually selects the one that has the ship rank closest to yours. So you won't have activities that are too far away from your ship rank. So the difficulty is intended to match. Recommended difficulty of activities is intended to match your current ship rank. So this is one of the ways in which we are trying to look into making activities more relevant to players. And so if you have the entire map with the different activities, you can immediately jump to something that's relevant and clearable by you. So again, the recommendation system, we wanted to release it with season 3 actually, but we brought it ahead of time since we could. And it's only the first step. We are going to continue improving on the recommendation system itself, provide more activities in which you can participate in, as well as certain things like time limited events that you can log into a game and know that, oh, there's this event that's going on, there's this event that you can immediately participate in, and it's like time limited. So yeah, that's where we are going with the recommendation.
Yeah, if I can add anything to that, I feel like it's also the direct consequence of something we've started noticing more and more throughout season 1 and even more in season 2 is that players are engaging in our world events more and more, and there's more rare materials and more needs for rare materials in the game with ship upgrades, for example. So we want to make it easier, and also, of course, we have a lot of players who are just interested in participating to farm all the vanity and cosmetics that you can get, right? So we know players are engaging in those. We want to make it more accessible. We want to expose the rewards you can potentially get from these events more. Which basically leads me to my next question. I know it's also been a big topic throughout season 2, which is the subject of drop rates, right? A lot of people are saying like the drop rates are not very encouraging, to put it mildly. So Sam, do you know if we are looking into that? Do we have plans to address it in the near future or short-term future?
Yes, so one of the top feedback that we have been repeatedly seeing from the community over the past few weeks is the frustration of being able frustration of not being able to get their desired loot from certain activities, and it was kind of frustrating when you grind the events over and over again, and you don't have that kind of certainty or indication of when you'll get those equipment, especially if the drop rate is actually low. So what we're looking into right now, we don't have any concrete plans that we can share at this point in time, but we are indeed looking into a way in which you would have some sort of indication or certainty when obtaining those furniture. Or so yes, there is something in the works to not exactly just tweaking the drop rates, but some sort of system that works under the hood to make your experience a little better.
Cool. So hopefully better chances to get cool loot in the future.
Yeah.
Cool. How are we doing with the game? Are you guys managing? I see Sam dying just now. So it's good timing for me to ask. How are you managing, Gabe?
Well, I'm fighting the Hubek twins, and there's always this one move which kicks my ass, but it's always good fun, and I'm glad there are a few people along in this, if I can see them through this fog, helping with this fight.
Is it a good idea for me now to reveal the fact that you're both playing with your own accounts? So if you happen to be playing Skull and Bones right now in the Southeast Asia region, there's a chance they might be able to find you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I play this game a lot. I think I have a lot of good fun just playing this almost every night, and just having a good time playing the events, and every time we defeat, it's so heartening to just like launch fireworks and seeing the whole chorus of fireworks follow after that. So it's great, and there's something nice about just going in, look at my helm manufacturers, collect all that coin, and buy out the black market.
Nice. Another question that I'm seeing on the chat quite a few times since we started. So some players basically share that they've had issues completing a specific season 2 contract called Ardent Refrain due to a bug. I believe this has been fixed as of yesterday. But players are asking whether it's because they were stuck for several weeks, right? They were not able to progress. Are we doing anything to compensate for the fact that they were stuck, or will they be able to catch up somehow? What's the plan?
So regarding the issue with the contract Argent refrain, I think we definitely recognize that there were issues that were preventing some players from actually completing it. So I think you'll be glad to know that as with past seasons content, we are actually not gonna actually sunset the contract once season 2 is over. So you can still continue to play the contract going into season 3 and onward. So really you won't be missing out. And you know, I know a lot of players value the contract specifically because of the materials it's giving for, especially for the ship upgrade. So you know, I'm also one of those players, and I definitely still pick it up every now and then just to get materials to upgrade my ship. So I think there shouldn't be much to be worried about, and you'll have plenty of time to get whatever rewards that you need out of that contract.
Cool. And yeah, I just want to kind of repeat what we said at the beginning of the stream. We know that quite a few players have been facing issues and blockers with Season 2, and that's why we really took the time to make sure that the update 2.2 was not only fixing a lot of the issues and improving some of the features that the community was asking about, but also not implementing new bugs. So if you're still experiencing issues after 2.2, please let us know, share your feedback, go to the bug reporter. And on the topic of like compensation, if you've been stuck in a specific area of the game for a long time and you feel like you missed out on some content or some rewards, also let us know. Share your feedback, and we can then investigate, look at how many people were affected by this issue, and then try to come up with a solution that hopefully compensates for the frustration and the delay. So yeah, let us know. Share your feedback. Other questions? Oh yes, so there's a there's a big topic. I don't know who's gonna wanna answer that one. So every season, well, basically season 1 to season 2, we did our first basically seasonal reset, right? At the end of season 1, we basically installed a cap on the amount of pieces of 8 that players can carry from one season to the next. I'm not sure we're ready to talk about it yet, but Sam or Gabe, I don't know, do you want to share a bit more insights about what we're planning for the transition from season 2 to season 3? Or do you want me to answer that one because I'm putting you on the spot?
That's a good question. I think I don't really have much that I can share now. I mean, we definitely know that the seasonal reset is definitely a contentious thing, and we want to make sure we do it right. So we're definitely looking at everything across the board with regards to the helm, and we want to make sure that it's fair for players who've stayed with us throughout season 2, and how they can continue to feel like those efforts are rewarded in season 3. But as of now, we don't have any specific details that we can share. So Alexi, anything else you want to add to that?
So I guess what I'll just say is, while we can't share the details of what we are going to do exactly just yet, we will communicate as soon as we can. Essentially, we want you to understand that we are going to follow a very similar philosophy as what we've done from season 1 to season 2, which is essentially look at the current state of the in-game economy, be it with piece of 8, with silver, with anything, and basically decide on where we think is a fair level for everybody to start season 3 on, not necessarily an even ground, because obviously if you're a new player or you haven't played that much, you should be on the same level as those who have spent a considerable amount of time farming and accumulating wealth. But we also want to make sure you are not starting season 3 with basically the ability to just unlock everything either through silver or piece of 8 or whatever. So it's a balancing act, right? Every season, basically, there's a new antagonist that comes to the Indian Ocean, and with it, basically, you kind of restart rebuilding your empire, rebuilding your wealth as a pirate kingpin. And yeah, and we our goal is to make sure that nobody starts the season with a crazy head start and can basically purchase everything within the first couple of days, right? So we will share the details. I know a lot of people are asking questions about the silver economy in particular due to the situation with Vengeful Essence. There's also something that we are actively monitoring and looking at, and we have a solution for which we will just only be able to communicate it once it's actually happening. So keep an eye out for our communication, probably through the website or on the next stream. I just want everybody to know that we are looking into it, and we have, I think, a good solution to make sure that everybody's starting season 3 on a good start, basically. Be it new players or existing players. Trying to find. There's a lot of comments going very fast on the chat, so I'm trying to find if there's any other big question that players want us to answer. We've also been collecting a lot of questions from Reddit and Discord since yesterday, so we have that list. But if there's anything that people really want to know in the chat, please let us know. We'll try to pick it up. I see quite a few comments about PvP as well. So my assumption is that when people ask about PvP, they're probably looking forward to our new PvP game mode that we've announced at Ubisoft Forward. Again, full disclaimer here, we're not ready yet to communicate about this. We are doing a lot of internal testing, is making good progress. We got a lot of great feedback from our insiders. I would say one of our top priorities is to make sure that this PvP game mode is as balanced as possible. So that's going to be a lot of our focus, specifically moving forward, to make sure that the ships are balanced, so that when you join this new PvP game mode, you feel like you can pick your favorite ship, your favorite loadout, and battle with everybody on an even level. Question for you, Sam. What about armor transmog? Basically, the possibility to hide certain parts of your ship, armor, or to change the way it looks, no matter which armor you equip.
I think for armor transmog, we have been seeing it as a request for some time, and also we have been already looking at it for some time. But right, I think until recently, the focus was more of ensuring that all the gameplay elements were there, and so we have been able more recently to get quality of life when it comes to aesthetic. So we don't have a confirmed date yet, but just still.
Yeah, basically it's feedback we've been receiving, I think mostly since the beginning of the end of season 1. So it's definitely on our list. Let's be fully honest, it's not our absolute top priority, because it's a nice change, but it's also just a visual change. So I would say when it comes to priority, we always try to address the most like the points that are really impacting the gameplay first. Warehouse Trade was a good example. That's something we really wanted to do for quite some time. Balancing is an ongoing topic. Making sure world events are accessible but still challenging is another big topic. Rewards is a big topic. These things like changing the way your ship look is definitely on the list, and it's an important part of the things we want to do, but it's going to take a bit more time.
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to the list.
I think just to add on the topic, I think everybody's really excited about it, and both on the community side, looking at excited to see what we have in store, and even internally there has been a couple of play sessions where everybody got together to play the mode, and I think Gabe and I have been playing quite a fair bit as well. We've seen some good progress.
It's
but
really fun.
as with the comment earlier, we want to make sure that it's really the best PvP experience, and so we are taking the time to ensure that we polish all of the different elements to that player experience. Yeah.
Cool. Do we want to answer the number one question that we get with every stream since the launch of the game, if not before? Sam, if you can guess which question, or maybe Sam or Gabe, can you guess which question?
I can guess. It starts with a L.
Yeah. So the question. So there's multiple questions actually. The topic is obviously large ships, but there's multiple questions. The first question is when are large ships coming? Second question is how are we doing basically, because we talked about it in the past that we want to take the time to do large ship right and make sure that they run well in the game, they don't create any performance issues, they are balanced, they are bringing something new to the game, etc., etc. So how are we doing when it comes to like our progress on large ships?
Yeah, so we are definitely looking at large ships and how we can bring it into game. And like what you said, Alexia, about making sure that its introduction is meaningful. Like how can we really differentiate it in terms of gameplay experience and how it can play well with the current world that we have. So we didn't want it to simply just be, hey, it's a larger version of the medium ship, but rather what is a big differentiator, and one thing that we always want to strive for in this game is like any ship is a viable option, which is why in season 2 when we introduced the upgrade system, that was to make sure that even playing small ships would be a viable a choice in gameplay. So we want to make sure that large ships don't automatically become like the best option when playing Skull and Bones. So when we look at things like how we design the world, there are narrow rivers and all these things. We consider it should large ships be able to navigate in them, and maybe where their advantages is really in the open seas and its ability to navigate the stormy seas, huge waves, much better than smaller craft. And again, there's a lot of discussion points that we're exploring right now with regards to large ships, but I think there is a lot of exciting possibilities. And similar to the point about PvP, when we put it in, we wanted to make sure that when it comes in, it really feels game changing in a way, but also doesn't completely unbalance whatever we've established up to this point. So I can confidently say that the team is actively looking at the topic of large ships, and we're just excited to be able to have them in the game, and we want to make sure that it's in its best form possible when we introduce it.
Cool. I know people are gonna keep asking, so yeah, I think it's good that we explain players why we're not just adding large ship randomly and just there you got large ships. If I can add to this, and this is more like from my point of view, I feel like a big priority for the team in year 1, was to bring more diversity, right? If you look at season 1 before ship upgrades, most of our players were essentially playing 2, maybe 3 ships majoritively. And I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, Sam, but ship upgrades the attempt was for us to make sure that they have more choice, more variety, and they can experiment with different builds. And maybe one of you can expand on this. Like, is there a next step to how we want to bring more variety to the game? Like, are we planning anything else other than ship upgrades in the near future?
Yeah, I think we recognize that how players want to express themselves in the game. Whether it's through customization of the ship, the weapons you carry, the best loadout. I think definitely, like, we don't want to have a game that just funnels down into one true meta. That being said, we want to still keep things dynamic. So things we're looking at in the medium term is like also things like weapon upgrades, for example. And I think this will start to introduce like a variety, increasing the viability of some of the less popular weapons, I would say, whether it's ballistas or torpedoes, and make them be able to stand toe to toe with like more popular options like the bombard. Or we see that the warhammer right now is really a popular auxiliary weapon option. I mean, I personally use it because it's just so good. But that is why we recognize that sometimes there are certain people who want to play it purely for min-maxing damage output, but there is also an aspect of role playing as well that I want to be the certain pirate. I want to be able to equip my standard cannons, culverins, carronades, and be able to fire broadsides like a pirate would do. So I think we want to really look at it variety in the sense of looking at what we have in the game and making sure those are still relevant to you even when you're Kingpin and beyond.
So, follow-up question from the chat: will we ever get legendary weapons?
Ooh. So I think this is definitely something we're considering. Like, there is this possibility of like increasing new tiers as we go on, and we want to try to keep that in control. And again, like when we introduce something like legendary weapons, if we're calling it that, we want to make sure that what you see as a legendary weapon is really meaningful. It's not just like a stat upgrade, but can we make it meaningful in terms of playstyle changing perks, for example, like when you equip it changes the way you play, like how a weapon might be used. So I think this is something we're definitely looking at, and this does tie with the weapon upgrades. So we want to really give you more power and ways to experiment with your playstyle in the future.
I mean, I have to say that the rarity exists in the game when we are trying to deliver on that, and finding, like Gabe said, finding the one thing that really defines legendary weapons, and I guess in general legendary items as well. So just not just
Cool. It's time for the random question. Well, another recurring question. This time coming from a small group of people, namely the insiders. When are we doing Hippo Nuggets?
when are we doing Hippo Nuggets?
Hippo Nuggets.
Is this your first time hearing Hippo Nuggets?
It is absolutely my first time, but you know what?
It's not.
It sounds tasty, and I want some of that right now.
It's not the first time you hear about it, because you met the insiders when they came to Singapore. And talked about it.
Well, when I met them, they did not mention Hippo Nuggets, but now that I know, I think we gotta do Croc Nuggets as well.
Okay, I'll schedule a dedicated meeting so that we can go all over the entire history of hippos and nuggets and how that idea came to be, and then hopefully we'll have an answer as to when hippo nuggets are coming to the game.
We're just talking about legendary items, right?
Yes, exactly.
Possibly
The ultimate weapon
legendary
will
food,
be built with the hippo teeth. or
Yeah, I
something
mean,
now.
why not have Zama Haribo Nuggets while we're at it?
Sorry.
Well, who does that?
Oh yeah, no. I wanted to ask, since we have Gabe, and I know you're quite actively involved in the whole narrative part of the game. I want to ask you, what is like your not your vision, but like, do you have any information you can give us on the long-term vision for the story? Are we gonna continue building on that story? Are we going to change anything? Like, some players feel like you reach Kingpin in the game, but you don't really act as a full Kingpin because you're still kind of working for the helm and doing Sherlock. And so, what is the long-term plan? If you can share a bit of information about this.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think the first step for us in looking at year one is really asking yourself, like, what is a Kingpin? What is the definition of Kingpin? And sure, what you get to experience right now is like, you get to manage an empire, and that's really kind of the first step, I think, because again, this is where you are just I like to see it as still sort of a shark entering the open waters where there are bigger fish, like literally a huge shark that I'm fighting right now. So I think there's still a lot more potential to explore the definition of a Kingpin, and we want to make sure that the Kingpin is sort of that first step, that status that you acquire, and then you can stand toe to toe with the other Kingpins to negotiate on equal grounds. And this is the progression that we want to explore in the coming seasons, and you know, as we continue to also expand the lore in terms of how it connects to Freeman, the treasure, and you know, the whole goal of the helm, of why the helm was founded. So then you start to question yourself, as you, if for those who played season 2 narrative, where the Huback twins does actually pose that question to you. And I think we wanted to leave players with that question, to consider really what it means to be Kingpin. And you know, is the helm really just the only avenue to be recognized as a Kingpin? So I think this is kind of the base that we want to start off, and then build upon that and look at really meaningful ways where we can help you realize, you know, whether it's in gameplay, new systems that further expand that definition of a Kingpin. So, you know, again, like one of the other changes that we introduced in season 2, which is the fleet management, is to sell that idea that, you know, you are sort of a manager of a huge fleet, and you know, you have, in a way, like lesser captains operating on your behalf, collecting your pieces of 8. So we definitely want to continue to reinforce that fantasy as you grow, and not be locked to a single definition of what a Kingpin is.
So I think I can speak on behalf of the community when I say that you got quite a few people excited with this possibility that you might be able to join the Huback twins in season 2. So yeah, not spoiling anything there, but I think some people are at least intrigued by the idea.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting when we were reading the comments about it. We were teasing the idea, and I think you know, unlike a single player game where your choice, you commit to it, and then it changes the outcome. Again, like, because we're a shared world, we want to make sure that, you know, the choice you reflect is not just purely on the narrative side, but rather like in the choices you make in terms of gameplay. So, but again, as I mentioned before, it's about posing that question. You know, is the helm the only way that I can realize my dreams as Kingpin? Is working with Skurlock the only way? Is working with Rama? So, from there, you question, like, are these Kingpins as good as they claim to be? And you know, we have the specter of, you know, Frederick Tooling, who is the employer of William Blackwood, you know, still kind of puppeteering things in the background, and he's definitely seeing, like, you know, what is a competent captain who can still kind of fulfill the demands of the pirate round that we've established. And you know, there are definitely detractors, like you mentioned, the Huback twins, who are saying, like, you know, at the end of the day, you call yourself a Kingpin, but are you still the person in control of your destiny if you are still answering to an organization? So I think there are interesting questions that are there, and we hope to be able to expand upon it in the near future as well as in the long term.
There was I think quite a good and valid question about the narrative, and specifically about Skurlock. Why does he get to drink all the rum?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Why does Skurlock get to drink all the rum?
Well, you know,
If you have an
Skurlock
answer for that one, I'll be impressed.
Skurlock wants whatever he wants, and you know, that's why if you guys know, like, he's always willing to buy any amount of gold skull rum you have to offer, and you know, even gold skull gem. So unfortunately for his guts, they can only do it when Skurlock's piss drunk. So, well, we'll see. You know, maybe we'll get to have Skurlock offer you part of his share when he decides that, hey, are you a threat or maybe an equal partner?
mean, we see Rama and Skurlock both funding everybody's helm business. So let's hope that Skurlock continues to buy more rum from everybody.
So moving back to actually quite a big big feedback we got since yesterday's update. Some players are reporting that we've done some changes to the rate of production from manufacturers in terms of piece of 8. So Sam, do you know anything about that? Because it wasn't included in the patch notes. So do you know what's happening there?
Yep, so this is not an intended change. As you can probably guess, it's not in the patch notes. And we're looking into...
Yeah, so if you have more feedback on this, I know a lot of the community is very keen to actually write down numbers and list down the change. So we're not asking anybody to go to that extent. It's helpful if you're doing, but we are investigating on it to understand why there was a change, if there was indeed a change, and how to fix it as soon as possible. So yeah, apologies for the people who get a bit frustrated by that. Hopefully it will be addressed very soon.
I need to give my shout out that I do every stream is to, if you're facing issues, use the bug reporter. It's the best way to report any issues to us, and we look at it on a daily basis as well. So the more volume a particular issue has, if we know that it affects many players, and for example this helm loss rate, and then we can look at prioritizing the top issues that are plaguing the community and address them as soon as possible, as solidly as possible.
Cool. Another topic related to, to manufacturers in general, but more specifically to fleet management. So season 2, we implemented fleet management. I think a lot of players were super happy about it, that they could just use, first of all, use all of the other ships that they were maybe not using as regularly as the main ships, but also kind of automate the piece of 8 collection process so that they could then spend more time engaging in other activities, which seemed as a big success from season 2, honestly. But do we have any plans to continue to improve the way fleet management works? And can you give us some information about some of the ideas that we're exploring at the moment?
Yeah, I think what we introduced for fleet management in season 2 is really just the start of it, and we've definitely seen comments about like, can we start to look at how fleet management potentially can be done for trade routes itself, and not just the POI. And so then, for example, if you start assigning ships to your manufactories, when manufacturing defense comes up, can these ships come up and also help defend these? So there's definitely a lot of possibilities and potential for what fleet management brings, and I think we're also looking at more specific stats in terms of the kind of ships you even choose to assign, and perhaps like specific bonuses or advantages it conveys to the ship you assign to a given POI, and how it improves like earn rate or even the risk in which you can incur for manufacturing defense or having to repair the ship. So there's I think we have to definitely look at the implications again, like the fact that fleet management still has a lot of potential. So I cannot say what specifically that we want to address right now, but because of the breadth of options that's available to us, there's a lot of things that's been debated, and a lot of them seem valuable. And I think whether we want to lean into the more management side, or does it help you in the naval combat gameplay, like I mentioned, for the manufacturing defense, these are definitely questions that we have in terms of determining what the next steps are for fleet management.
Cool. Very excited about that. When are we going to start sharing information about
Ooh, very
Ooh,
very
season
soon.
3.
Yes.
Very
Well,
very
it's
soon.
not that far away, right?
Yeah.
So actually, yeah. So maybe I can jump on that one. We have quite a few things that either have happened already or are about to happen very soon. The first one is, as many of you know, we have this insider program that has been going on since before the launch of the game, and that we very much want to continue doing for as long as possible, essentially. So we've done an insider program a couple of weeks ago, which was essentially we invited some of the people who either were involved in the insider program before the launch or have been playing actively since the launch of the game. So depending on how much playtime you have, you might or might not get invited for the insider program. The idea behind the insider program is all we ask of you is basically just play the game as much as we can during a short duration and give us some feedback on how you feel about the changes that are coming. So for about a week, they were able to test Season 3. We gathered a ton of feedback, which is going to help us address some of the things, either with 3.0, with update 3.0 when it comes out, or shortly after, depending on how fast we can implement those changes. So the good news is hopefully we'll be able to ship and release Season 3 with a lot of improvements based on the feedback from our insiders. And then the second thing is basically, I can't spoil too much, sorry, because we're going to communicate about it very soon in a couple of weeks. But there will be opportunities for people to find out more about Season 3 before Season 3 goes live. I won't say more. There will be, of course, trailers, patch notes, communication around it. But there might be a little bit more to that coming. So keep an eye out for our communication. And I hope you're all super excited about what we have planned for Season 3.
I think one of the biggest things that we have mentioned so far, we have announced so far, is that Skull and Bones is coming to Steam.
Yes.
And I think as part of the quality team, one of our big initiatives, at least on given that we are going to launch on Steam, is to relook the PC experience in general. There's a significant amount of players that are playing on PC, in addition to, of course, different consoles. And so we spend a bit of time to look at mouse and keyboard improvements. We're going to share more of that very, very soon, actually. So in fact, before we launch Season 3 itself, so keep your eyes out for the communications and the information that will come soon.
Yeah, I mean, I even got to play it on Steam Deck. It was great.
So it's confirmed Skull and Bones runs on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I mean, it really looks great, to be honest. Like, I could see myself playing it on it if I owned the Steam Deck. But yeah, for those who own it, I think you'll be pleased by how it runs on it. So yeah, I think excited for the Steam release.
Yeah, and just to jump back on the insider program, because I see a few comments from people who say they would like to be invited, or they would like us to do insider program for console, for example. So two things: if you want to be invited to the insider program, essentially there are two ways to do that. The first one, and it's not a guaranteed one, but the more you play, the more likely you are going to be invited. It's as simple. We look at people who play the most, because we really want people who have explored most of what the game has to offer, and then they can really give us feedback on the changes that are coming. The second way to get involved is basically just be super active in the community. So on the community Discord, on Reddit, if you're a streamer, if you're a content creator and you play Skull and Bones, put your stuff out there, make yourself visible basically, and then we can reach out to you, and if you are good profile for us, if we feel like you are contributing to the community in general, we'll try our best to make sure you're invited in the next phase. When it comes to console, it's a bit more complicated. Essentially, the goal for us is to make sure that people can not just play the next season, but also play it in as good condition as possible. So obviously, it's a version of the game that is not completely finished yet, so there will be bugs, there will be issues. But deploying an early version of the game on PC and on console at the same time is an insanely high amount of work. So I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. We just restarted Insider Program for the first time since the launch. I think it was quite a success. Sam, can you confirm? Are you happy with how the Insider Program went?
Yeah, the Insider Program did give us a lot of insights that allowed us to kind of tweak some of the last remaining things that we could before season 3 itself. So I think if you have the opportunity and you can participate in the insider program, give us the feedback. You get to try certain things ahead of time as well. You get to hear different things. And we'd love to have your thoughts on how certain features that we're going to release will play out. And definitely the input from the insider program has been super valuable as well. And we've been able to make changes even before the release of.
Cool. We are running out of time. I didn't realize it was past 7. In
That was
Singapore.
fast.
So unfortunately, we're gonna have to put an end to the stream because Sam and Gabe do have to go back to their regular jobs.
to actually bring updates to players, right?
Exactly. We can't
Actually,
share
not just talk
updates if we
about
don't
it.
walk.
Maybe one last question before we end this. So it's a 2-step question. Why don't we have parrots in the game, and when are they coming?
Exciting.
You will have it.
Yes. So
I've seen it.
yeah, we've definitely seen parrots being worked on. So I think for those looking forward to parrots, you'll be happy to know that it'll be available quite soon.
I think we just gave like the team that's working on parrots like, a lot of pressure suddenly, but
I have full confidence in their ability to deliver a great parrot experience.
As long as you don't
oh
commit,
my goodness, you didn't just do that great parrot experience.
as long as you don't commit to a day, I think it's okay. But yeah, I mean the teams working on pets in general are doing a fantastic job. So I haven't seen the parrot myself, but I'm quite looking forward to it. And then I'm definitely gonna push for hippo nuggets. All right, that's about it for today. Thank you again, Gabe and Sam, for joining us on the stream today. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, there most likely won't be another stream before season 3 arrives, which is very soon. But we'll have a lot of cool news to share very soon about season 3 in general, and I hope you're all going to be super excited about what's coming. The Steam release, and obviously all the new content we have to offer. Keep an eye for our season 3 trailers that are coming in a couple of weeks, and all the information we'll have to share.
I think just maybe a closing note from me. There are a lot of things that we have also released along with 2.2 that we didn't really cover in the stream. So there are other things like being able to purchase larger amounts of ammo, lots of other quality of life improvements. There's this new setting in for interaction outlines as well. So if you're having a hard time finding out what loot you're actually picking out, or what POI you're interacting with, that is a good option to explore. And definitely check out all the patch notes for all of the latest changes. Season 3 is coming really soon, and just keep your feedback coming. We'll prioritize all of the quality of life changes accordingly, and we'll continue delivering all these improvements and polish items to players as often and as regularly as possible in season 3 and season 4 as well. So yeah, thanks
Cool.
for having us.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for having us.
Gabe, any last words?
Well,
Did you have fun on your first appearance on the deck?
hey, it's not just my first appearance on the deck, but it's my first time live streaming ever.
Oh my
so it's quite an experience, but it's been great. Like,
Are you now considering a full-time career on Twitch?
yeah, I think I need to really start getting all that gear set up at home.
All right. So in the meantime, maybe we'll have you back on the next one. How about that?
Hey,
And by the way, if some of you in the chat miss Ernest, feel free to let us know as well. We can put pressure on him if we have feedback from the community. So yeah. No, but in general and more seriously, do let us know what you think of those streams. We are looking into ways we can potentially improve those streams in the future, do them more regularly. We do want to communicate with you more if we can. Obviously, it's a matter of time and having the right level of information. But if you want more, if you want us to change anything, let us know. We'll take your feedback for anything, really. Cool. Well, thank you again. This is it for today. We'll be back very soon. And in the meantime, please have fun, enjoy 2.2, and look forward to season 3 coming very soon. Thank you, everyone, and catch you next time.
You guys.
See you.
Bye.